Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be talking about the LeapFrog LBK2 format and Welcome3. So let's start with Welcome3. Welcome3 currently serves an unknown purpose. It's most likely a test ROM for the MindStation cartridge writer. It is for the LeapPad. This is suggested by internal text, defining it as a LeapPad program. Comes bundled with the MindQuest or MindStation software. I accidentally wrote that wrong. It comes on the driver CD in a folder called Control. It has messy compilation. There are tons and tons of unused strings and debug related text. It is written in C, and I'll get to that one later on, and it contains MCS 51 code. This is defined by the fact that the LeapPad and all those devices run a Intel i8032, and the MindStation itself runs an Intel 8051. Let's start out with the debug strings. Now these are actually in one giant chunk area. Check power off does exactly what it should. Well, is text defining what it should. Hardware init is a hardware initialization string. Power down check init is also a string relating to powering down. Battery check init, self-explanatory. A lot of these are. The ones that are interesting are DSP init, audio init, and EX1 int init. My guess with timer init is a clock, perhaps. DSP init. I don't know if these devices actually have a digital signal processor, probably not. Audio init is obviously for the audio acceleration hardware that LeapFrog developed that is custom MIDI based with 8000 Hz self-compression, CELP compression. EX1 int init, I have no clue. My guess is this is something like external interrupts. Launch cartridge is probably an option that it has for if it's used on an iQuest or any device with a screen. LP boot app, this is what I was talking about. LP is probably standing for LeapPad, but this is the boot app location. And cartridge ROM version is my guess, and this is probably the version. Same with this, ASCII revision, probably the revision here. So this is all debug related text. Currently we have no clue what this means in its entirety. There are more strings. These aren't all of them, by the way. There's an entire The Cutting Room 4 page I made. But MD, no model data found. Obviously there's model data somewhere in there. Pre-built announce gas. I don't know what gas means. I actually haven't found an answer for this, version 1.0. It was built on May 31st, 2001 at 11:40. I have no idea if this is PM or AM, actually. But there are actually 3 different build dates in here. There's May 31st, 2001 at 11:41, May 31st at 11:40 at the 17th second mark, and May 31st, 11:40 at the 13th second mark, which is this. App, I'm assuming these are start addresses, model data, obviously, model data, and coming from an assert. I actually have no clue what this means, and I haven't been able to figure it out. I haven't been able to emulate this program, and I actually passed it along to the people who are reverse engineering the LeapPad to hopefully see if they can figure that out and see if there's any sort of comparison to existing dumped LeapPad cartridges. And here's where I gathered that this was made in C. Compiler leftovers. My guess is this compiler reads from resident RAM on a developer's computer, and this shows app main, fatal error, and these seem like these are printf strings. For example, if it was compiling and something went wrong, it would print these up. So here's gas again. I don't know what gas is. gas no weight. I also forgot to mention, there's something that I found out actually isn't just to this ROM, but according to other people, it is in every LeapFrog product. A single string. Have you copied our ROM? This seems to be in every single LeapFrog program, ever. But I actually originally thought this was some sort of copy string of, anti-piracy or whatever. Odd for a kid's device, but... as it also appears in one of the DLL files. But let's talk about the LBK2 format. It was developed by LeapFrog specifically for the MindStation cartridge writer. It is defined as a MindStation application by Windows, and this even spans across Windows 98, 2000, and XP. The driver doesn't work on anything newer than that. It has a chunk-based layout, with the program being in separate chunks, and is compatible with the LeapFrog LeapPad, TurboTwist, iQuest, LeapTop, Little LeapPad, and perhaps more devices. There's also one thing I should have included, and that is MindStation programs are written in MCS51 compatible code, and that's because these devices are MCS51 family devices. I should also note that the MindStation itself contains an 8051 microcontroller. I haven't dumped the firmware yet, but I will do that at some point. So this is the header. Let's start out with the top bit. LBK 20000. This is an 8-byte header, followed by 4-byte package ID, if memory serves me right, no pun intended. This is FFFF in Welcome 3. There's a 128-byte buffer containing a null terminated string. This is blank in Welcome 3. And a 128-byte buffer containing another null terminated string. In Welcome 3, this was a copyright string that said copyright, and then the copyright symbol, 1996 to 2002, LeapFrog Enterprises, Incorporated, all rights reserved. The chunks have a completely different header, with a 4-byte type of chunk, whether it be uncompressed data, etc., etc. A 4-byte start address, 4 bytes size of the chunk, 4 bytes of these, of EF, BF, EF, BE, AD, and BA, hard-coded. This is in every chunk, by the way. 4 bytes is stored size, and 28 bytes of code ignored by LBK utils, which I will actually get to that in a bit. LBK2 chunks are the header of 48 bytes in size, chunk data, which is the length, which is stored size, and padding, so the total chunk length is a multiple of 4 bytes. So with that out of the way, let's talk about LBK utils. I didn't make a slide for this, but LBK utils is a simple program written by LeapFrog to show the contents of an LBK file. So this is the output of LBK utils on test.lbk. Test.lbk was a copy of Welcome 3. This is the contents of Welcome 3 as viewed by LeapFrog's own program. Here's that copyright string, and this is the package ID. Now you can add a title, and this does get added into the header as well if I'm correct. And here are your chunks. And this is the total stored size. LBK utils doesn't do much more than that. In fact, the more it can do, actually, this. This is what happens when you don't input a file. You can show the usage, show the version of the program, file name, file.lbk, compress the blocks. This is, oh god, I forgot to write it down, zlib. This is zlib, uncompress the blocks, encode dev help document, which I actually don't know what that means. I haven't gotten it to do anything, and set the title field, which will go right here. But that is the Welcome 3 program and the LBK2 format. This is probably a very messy video, but I tried.